What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're looking at some expanded format results, which I'm pretty excited to start covering expanded on the channel again, with the Black and White Through Darkness Ablaze expanded format, of course. And today we're going to be looking at results from a 45-player online tournament, the Atlas Mini 6, held by Atlas Collectibles. If you want more information on these tournaments, definitely go check out at Flying Corpses on Twitter or the Atlas Collectibles tournament Facebook group. I'll show that in just a moment. Before we get started looking at the top 8 lists from this 45-player event in the expanded format, shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes, and be sure to use code CELIO for 5% off. So this is the Atlas Championship Series Facebook page. If you search Atlas Championship Series on Facebook, you should be able to find it. And Drayden Davis publishes like the schedules and information and all of that stuff. And Drayden's Twitter is at Flying Corpses. If you wanted to find his Twitter, he also has a ton of information about the tournament series over there if you wanted to play in them. So let's start out from the first place list. First place was Lee Bui with Dragapult Garbodor, also known as Trashapult, which I have already covered on this channel. This is the updated list that he got first place in this tournament with. I believe the last list that I covered, he got top 8 in that one. But yeah, so he ended up taking down this entire tournament, 45 players with Trashapult. So really excited to see an expanded metagame forming while we have no major expanded events. The Trashapult variant, or the Trashapult archetype, is really interesting in my opinion. Of course, it has the Garbodor base. You have Trashalanche to do more damage for every item in your opponent's discard, and Garbotoxin to lock abilities. But Dragapult VMAX takes advantage of any of the smaller attackers in the format, like Mad Party, Mew, Ultra Necrozma, and it also has a decent chunk of HP. And if you can ability lock your opponent with Garbodor, get rid of their energy with Enhanced Hammer, and then just start using Dragapult VMAX's attack, and you can spread damage around 130, 50, wherever you want. If you can lock them, get rid of their energy, it doesn't matter that you're not doing as much damage as some attackers have the potential to do in expanded, because you're just going to end up clearing their board with Dragapult VMAX eventually. So really interesting deck, ton of fun. We do have a deck profile on the channel here if you wanted to check that out, and I highly suggest trying this deck out. Next, we do have ADPZ, unfortunately. Yeah, so ADPZ is also fairly strong and expanded. Of course, you have the double dragon energy and expanded to use, so you only need 1 energy attachment to use Altered Creation. But as you may have noticed in the Trashapult list there, it does. Other lists are playing Pokemon Ranger, and Pokemon Ranger negates Altered Creation for the entire game, so it's a little bit risky to play ADPZ if you think everybody's playing Pokemon Ranger, or, you know, Pokemon Ranger is a popular tech. But you'll see it looks pretty different and expanded, because they're playing 4 Tag Call and Guzmahala to get to that double dragon energy, and of course you have Float Stone. So turn 1 Guzmahala means you have Float to get out whatever's in the active, and then double dragon energy to attach to your ADP, and then you have turn 1 Alter Creation. It's just so much easier to do in the expanded format. And then in addition to Metal Saucer, you also have Max Elixir to accelerate energy to your Zacians. So still a very good deck coming over into the expanded format. If you wanted to play expanded but you don't have a ton of cards for it, this is an easy build, because if you're playing standard, you probably have the cards for ADPZ, so you can just switch on over to expanded, get some of the trainers, and you're good to go for this. Next is another Trashapult deck. This one is by Stephane Ivanoff, and this list is very different. But it's awesome. Again, so happy to be covering these archetypes. So a different variant of Trashapult. This one is much more Dragapult VMAX focused than Garbodor. And he also has multiple counter energy attackers or multiple backup attackers. So he has the Sableye V. Remember, V Pokemon can use counter energy, and counter energy counts as 2 of any type of energy as long as you're behind on prizes, and it doesn't work on GX and EX Pokemon. So you can attach it to Sableye V and use Crazy Claws for just a single energy attachment. You can attach it to Dragapult VMAX to attack for just a single energy attachment. You can attach it to Sudowoodo and use Watch and Learn for a single energy attachment. And then it also has Oricorio for the Supernatural Dance, which is super strong versus Night March and Mad Party. Other than that, the deck then starts to look very similar to the other list because it's just playing typical expanded staples like Mysterious Treasure, Ultra Ball, and Juniper, Guzma, Choice Band, and Floatstone. I believe Lee's list uses Muscle Band as opposed to Choice Band. Muscle Band does 20 extra to anything with your attacks. Choice Band does 30 extra to GX and EX. I think I like Muscle Band better, but there might be specific math where Choice Band's better, like against the Dene GX, so Dragapult can one-shot the Denes. And then Parallel City is a very, very powerful stadium and expanded. Whichever side has the blue side, or I'm sorry, is it blue or red? One of the sides, it's been a little while. One of the sides of Parallel, that player can only have 3 benched Pokemon. So, and then the other one, their Water, Grass, Fire attacks, I believe, do 20 or 30 less. It's been a while since I used Parallel City, but yeah, you basically force your opponent down to a 3 Pokemon bench, which can be very strong if you're playing against like a Zoroark or Snorlax VMAX, or maybe even a Eternatus and expanded. Next, we've got kind of a control list. This is really cool. There's such a variety of decks. So, yeah, this is a control list focused on Sableye, but they've got tons of options. So they have the Pyroar. Pyroar is intimidating main. It can't be damaged by attacks from basic Pokemon. Bunnelby has the Omega trait or the Alpha trait. It can attack twice, and then so it has 2 attacks. Burrow discards the top card of your opponent's deck, and the other attack puts something from your discard pile at the bottom of your deck. So you can either mill 2 or get back 2 resources with that. Giraffeg's Get Lost puts cards from your opponent's discard pile into their lost zone. You're playing 8 dolls in this deck because you have 4 Robo Substitute, 4 Lily's Pokédoll. Of course, the Control King himself, Aranguru Resource Management's in here. Notably, they're not playing Tropical Beach. So, probably because Tropical Beach is very expensive, you would want to typically always play Tropical Beach in expanded control. But it looks like they were able to make do without Tropical Beaches. They were playing Lucky Egg and also playing Zacian for Intrepid Sword. So Zacian's Intrepid Sword potentially at some points could be better than Tropical Beach, because Tropical Beach you can only draw up to 7, but Zacian you're always drawing 3 no matter what. So maybe sometimes that draw 3 gets you more than a Tropical Beach would, but I still think you would rather have Tropical Beach. And then Zamazenta walls off Pokemon VMAX, of course, so that's a neat new wall to have in the deck. So lots of walls in here. So you got the Pyroar, the 8 dolls, and then the Zamazenta, of course. So pretty cool deck. Next, we have a 5th place, Eduardo Matos with Roxy Chomp. Now, Roxy Chomp has no new cards from Darkness Ablaze. Its only Sword and Shield cards are 2 Scoop Up Nets from Rebel Clash and 2 Zigzagoon from Sword and Shield base. It's still very, very resemblant of the first place list Hunter Butler used in Dallas. Roxy Chomp is just super aggressive. You go the early 240 with Tina Chomp after you spread a little bit of damage with Roxy, and Noivern GX can completely wall off some decks, stopping them from playing down special energy cards. So some decks in Expanded will only play special energy cards, and Noivern GX can just wall those off. And it's also an attacker versus any Pyroar decks like we saw in 4th place, so you can actually get through those Pyroars if you have your Noivern GX. But yeah, this list has been covered a ton already, or this deck has been covered a ton already, and it doesn't have a bunch of new stuff in it, but it's a really fun and really aggressive deck to play in Expanded. Next we have Mew Counters, another deck that's fairly well known. And again, no new Darkness Ablaze cards. It does have double from Rebel Clash and Cramorant from Sword and Shield. Cramorant's pretty important for this deck because you can just use it for a single DCE, copying it from Mew. So you have Mew in your active, you play down Dimension Valley, you attach double colorless energy, and boom, you're using Spit Shot for just a DCE, or for a twin energy, or for 2 lightning energies because of Dimension Valley and Mew. So you can just pick off a Shaman or a Dedenne every turn. It's kind of nuts, and you have a lot of really great attacks to copy. So you have Spit Shot you can copy, you have double V's attack to copy, Quaking Punch from Seismitoad, Metronome from Clefairy, you have Stardust Jirachi to use, and Bunnelby showing up again for the mill stall control matchups. And this deck does play Target Whistle and Dowsing Machine, so you could Spit Shot a Dedenne, Target Whistle it back, Spit Shot the Dedenne, Dowsing Machine for Target Whistle, Spit Shot the Dedenne. Really awesome deck. This is a lot of fun to play because you have multiple different attackers, you're copying things with Mew, you're doing it for less energy than you should be with Dimension Valley. So very neat deck, piloted by Alex Szymanski here for 6th place in this tournament. At 7th place, we have Baby Ultra Necrozma. So Ultra Necrozma swings 170 just for a single attachment of Double Dragon. Of course, it has the ability that stops itself from attacking unless your opponent has 2 or less prize cards. But with Silent Lab and Garbodor, you just turn that ability off and you swing 170 every turn for a single energy attachment and discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this deck, very aggressive, single prize based, completely single prize based, piloted by Jacob I to 7th place. Again, just showing how versatile Expanded is at the moment. Now, of course, these are only like 50-ish person tournaments, but really cool to see a versatile metagame, and hopefully it continues to expand. No pun intended. And then in 8th place, Jason Gragg with a Mew 3 box. I actually piloted Mewtwo and Mew tag team to a top 64 in Dallas myself. This list is definitely a little bit different. It has Bird Trio now, Jolteon EX to wall off basic only decks, Pidgeot EX for its mirror move that does back the damage that was dealt to it. But Mewtwo and Mew tag team, just like Mew from Fates Collide that we just looked at in Alex Szymanski's list, it has Dimension Valley, so it can use the attacks it's copying for 1 less energy, which makes it very strong. We see multiple walling or like reflecting attacks here. Altaria GX walls off attacks from GX and EX, Jolteon EX walls off attacks from basics, and Pidgeot EX hits the opponent back with whatever damage they dealt to Mewtwo, and you can max pot before you use the mirror move to just heal yourself, and then they take back the damage they did to you. So again, a very versatile and interesting and fun and, you know, thoughtful deck to play, because you have so many different attackers to copy. You have Prism Energy, so you can excuse me, you have Prism Energy, so you could actually use all these Pokemon that have different energy attacks, energy costs. Ninja Boy to pop one of your basics into a Mewtwo, or vice versa. So very awesome deck, very versatile, and that's the last deck we'll look at today for the top 8 from the Atlas Miniseries 6 Expanded with 45 players. So make sure you check out the Atlas Collectibles tournaments if you want to play in tournaments like these. Shouts out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more expanded format content. I've actually been having fun covering expanded, and I'm probably going to start playing some expanded too for the channel. So let me know if you'd like to see that. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already for daily Pokemon TCG content, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.